fine. I'm going to be spending some big money today getting these licenses, and I'm excited because I'm going to finally be able to run multiple unit locomotives properly and with the correct procedure. This plug right here is going to allow us to control our two locomotives a lot more conveniently than what I've been doing so far. Spent a bit of cash on this, but it's time we moved into the technological age. Oh boy, looks like our traction motor temps are rather hot right now. We're gonna have to do something here, slow this thing down, because these little engines can't cope with this hill, I think. Hopefully we don't end up stalling this train. Ooh, look at those temperatures. This is starting to get a little bit worrying right now because I'm backing off the throttle, but the motors are still hot. Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel once again. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome to you, welcome aboard as well. This is episode 7 of my Derail Valley Simulator career playthrough. We are here at Steel Mill. This is where we ended up from the last episode, and I'll put a card up above to the previous episode, episode 6, if you haven't seen that already. We came here double heading the steam shunting engine and DE2, and it's the next day right now, and what a day it is already. It looks like it's coming down with a little bit of rain so far, so I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I'm probably not going to take the steam engine for a run. Oh, surprise! I thought I'd probably just leave that where it is for the moment. And we'll try something new this time. I've got quite a bit of money burning a hole in my wallet. So I thought, let's try doing something a bit different. We're going to go ahead and just purchase some new licenses. And we're going to take a fairly heavy load today. So let's get right into it. So what have I got here? I've got the multiple unit license. Okay. So this license allows you to basically hook up locomotives together. Those locomotives that are compatible to be hooked up, that is. And this multiple unit coupling is achieved through a cable, okay? Now, if you've been watching some of my episodes and just normal sandbox videos on my channel, you'll know that I've been hooking up locomotives together in the past and just running between them and trying to control both of them at once. Well, this multiple unit setting is a little bit different, and we'll go through that shortly. But first, let's have a look at the job that we're going to be doing today for today's episode of career mode in Derail Valley Simulator. We've got here a freight haul, which is basically delivering a whole load of steel rails, 570 ton. Okay, this is nothing to really be sneezed at here. And to be honest with you, the kind of locomotives I'm going to be using today are not really designed to hold this amount of weight. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be hooking them up in tandem and basically double heading it. So basically connecting them up together and trying to pull that load. So before we do that though, let's go ahead and just clear out our fees, which is basically damage, consumption, and oil, fuel usage and wear and tear from the last episode, which I'm not going to sort of go through in too much detail here. But basically my copay at the moment is only $2,000. So unfortunately, in order to do the multiple unit coupling that I'm thinking of doing right now, I'm going to have to increase the copay, it seems. So just having a look at this license info sample here, we can see that it increases our copay by $5,000. Okay, but before we can even get that license, there's another prerequisite that it requires, and that is another license called concurrent orders. So we need to get this concurrent orders license first, and then we can get our multiple unit license that allows us to run two locomotives together. So if you want to do things the right way in this game, you do need licenses up the wazoo, unfortunately. So we're going to be spending some money today, unfortunately, on some licenses. And you can see there that we've got concurrent one. And this also increases the copay, which is the minimum amount you need to pay to clear your fees. Okay, so looking at these licenses in more detail here, we can see that the multiple unit license that allows you to run two locomotives in tandem, that adds $5,000 to your copay. And the concurrent orders, which is a requirement for this multiple unit license, adds another $4,000 to your copay. So basically, that's $11,000 of copay in total instead of $2,000. Which is what I currently have for my copay. But anyway, that's fine. I'm going to be spending some big money today getting these licenses, and I'm excited because I'm going to finally be able to run multiple unit locomotives properly and with the correct procedure, okay, in the valley. Right, so let's get our wallet out. As you can see here, we're burning a hole in our wallet with this $51,000 that we have at the moment. So yes, why not? Why not spend some money on some licenses? Let's go. We're not going to be getting the DM3 license, unfortunately, anytime soon. Well, not in this episode, at least. But concurrent orders is only $10,000, thankfully. So we'll go ahead and purchase that one first. Here we go. Do I really want to do this? Yes. Yes, I do. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Time to spice up this career mode a little bit more. Right, congratulations. We now have concurrent orders 1. So that means we can actually do 2 train orders in one go. So I can pick up 2 contracts and run them and make double the amount of money in one go, basically. So that's really handy. And that makes sense because that's, I guess, the game wants you to get that license first because it assumes that you're going to be running multiple units with heavy loads, okay? So we've got our multiple unit license now, which means that we can connect up our locomotives, compatible locomotives, using the cable. And we can just stay in one cab and we can drive and issue commands from that first cab and have them mirrored by the locomotive behind us. So we've cleared out our fees, got our licenses, so I think we are ready to go. Let's just have a quick look at our stats here. You can see there, oh, that copay's gone up to $11,000. You know, I'm thinking now it might be a good time to actually work towards getting manual servicing so that we cut down, we can cut down on our servicing costs, I guess. But let me know in the comments what you think, because $11,000 copay, that's still not too bad, I think, in my opinion. I mean, it's not like $2,000. It's a big jump from $2,000, but it could be worse. Anyway, so here's our job. Let's go ahead and validate this, and let's get on moving out of here. So, oops, just trying to leave the office there from the window pane. That's not going to work. 570 ton today, which we're going to be hauling. Now, we are going to Harbour and Town. We did come from Harbour and Town in the last episode, and we're going back there again. But that's fine. We'll be heading out of Steel Mill here. It's going to be a mostly level run towards Harbour and Town, except for right about here. So as we leave the Steel Mill just now, there's a crazy bit of inclines right here, just by the farm. Once we pass over that, it's going to be mostly level and even downhill after that, and then definitely downhill, a sharp decline into Harbour and Town. So even though we've got a heavy load, we've only got that one set of incline to worry about, really. So, yeah, we've got that heavy load of almost 600 ton. And there's one DE2 little shunter there, the diesel electric shunter. And you might be asking, well, if you're going to do multiple heading on this, where's the other one? Well, the other DE2 is basically behind us right now. But first I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be hauling today and just confirm that we have the right set of wagons. And here they are right here. So basically just a whole bunch of rails that we're going to be shipping to Harbour and Town. And these things are not light at all. So yeah, and there's the old steam shunter and the DE2 behind it, which we drove here in the last episode, episode 6. Okay, let's go get the other DE2, shall we? Right, so I'm just getting the turntable lined up here so that we can get this DE2 out of the yard here, out of this little engine shed area, I guess. Just trying to line up this turntable here. It's being a little bit annoying right now. There we go. Okay, so we'll hop inside and get this DE2 moving onto this turntable. So let's do that right now. Right, so let's get this thing all started up. The old DE2, the diesel electric 2. It's the smallest engine in this game, and the one with the least amount of pulling capacity and power. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and just hook both of these up today. Get 2 of these going. And hopefully the power combined will be enough to haul that almost 600 ton worth of steel rails today. So on its own, these things are really not that powerful, as I mentioned. I think they're rated at around somewhere like 200 ton, more or less. So, ooh, I'm missing my world map actually. I think I might have left that behind in my steam shutter. I'll have to go sort that out in just a moment. But anyway, let's go ahead and move this thing onto... okay, first let's just figure out which way we need to turn this turntable, because we need to be heading out of here in a westerly direction. So I'm going to turn the turntable like this, and that should all make sense. Ooh. There we go. Right, so it's all good now. Let's go ahead and hop in. So yes, these things are rated at only like 200 ton basically. So 2 of these together is still quite a bit shy of our total amount of load that we've got today. So we've got about 400 odd ton of pulling power with 2 of these things connected. And we're hauling almost 600 ton today. So yeah, it's still not going to be quite, you know, like it's not going to be a very powerful haul, unfortunately. But I think we're going to be using the terrain to our advantage because, like I said, there's only one set of inclines on the way to our destination today. But even so, those inclines are quite severe indeed. So we're going to have to make sure that we manage that properly in this run because otherwise the train could stall and we'll be in a lot of trouble. Okay, so let's get this thing all shunted into the right area of the yard, and we'll go and get this thing all hooked up to the rest of the train, I think. So just passing into the yard here, just going through the middle section of the yard. You can see the load of wagons we'll be hooking up to will be on our immediate left as we pass through here. So what I'm planning on doing is just stopping short and using this locomotive as the lead locomotive. So I'm going to stop short when we get to the other end and just bring the other DE2 in, the one that we're just passing there, and we'll make that the rear locomotive, if that makes sense. So that DE2 is facing the other way around as well, so that's going to be a little bit interesting. I think from a cooling perspective we should be okay. I do know in earlier builds of this game, if the DE2 was facing the other way around, the engine would overheat. But it seems that temperature gauge is now for the traction motors, and jury's a bit out whether it makes a difference if it's facing backwards or forwards. But I guess we'll find out in this episode if that rear DE2 blows up or not. Right, well I figured whilst I'm here I'm just going to quickly check and just make sure that this is obviously the right set of wagons after all. 601, yep, can see that on the manifest here. So this is the correct set of wagons. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump into the steam locomotive here and just grab that world map. I won't be a second. Here's the old faithful steam shunter, which we've been driving for probably, well, the last few episodes actually. So got the expert shovel as well, but yeah, unfortunately, yeah, in this episode we're gonna leave this thing behind for the moment at least. It was nice knowing you, steam shunter. We will return eventually, but yeah, to be honest with you, I would probably like to try the DM3 soon, or probably even the DH4 if that comes up. I've got neither the DM3 nor DH4 license at the moment, but I guess if I do see the DH4, I will probably go for it. Just have something different to drive in career mode would be nice. And the DH4 has quite an increased amount of capacity for hauling. And I think now that we've got the concurrent jobs license, maybe it's time to just step things up a little bit and get some more heavy movements going on throughout the valley, I'm thinking. Because we'll be able to make some serious cash that way. And given that our copay is now $11,000, we can't afford to mess around, I think. We've got to start pulling in those high-paying jobs. So we've got to start thinking big, I think. So future episodes after this as well, I'm going to start having to pick those high-value jobs, I think, and heavy loads, and yeah, really get moving with some of these heavy loads. So that's all yet to come in career mode. But for the moment, let's go ahead and hook these 2 little shunters up and try and move this heavy load. Easing up here to the load and just managed to hit the bump stops there, so we'll just go ahead and couple up here. You can see there the multiple unit cable there on the left hand side, that blue cable, blue plug. That's what we'll be plugging up on the other side of this locomotive, and we'll be plugging into the shunter on the other end basically. So just to show you what that looks like, here is the source of all of our money that was spent on our multiple unit license. This plug right here is going to allow us to control our 2 locomotives a lot more conveniently than what I've been doing so far. I'm not going to have to run between two engines anymore. I can just make all of my adjustments from one cab, and they'll be mirrored in the other locomotive. So yippee, finally. Spent a bit of cash on this, but it's time we moved into the technological age. Right, okay, so let's go back to the lead locomotive, or what will be the lead locomotive here, and back this into the siding as well, where we need to be. We need to go forward first, so let's just do that first. And then once we back into the siding where we need to be, I'm going to inch up to the other locomotive, and then we'll go ahead and just use that blue cable there, and we will go ahead and just hook in and get these two locomotives coupled together in multiple unit mode. Okay, so just inching up to this locomotive now. We'll go ahead and get it all connected up. Nice and easy. There we go. Right, so what we do here is basically we'll just go ahead and just couple up as usual here. Nothing different about that. Get the brake hoses connected as well, and go ahead and just go ahead and quickly open these brake valves on the second locomotive here. Charge up the rest of the train, and open the brake valve here as well, and here. Got two compressors working now, if I'm not wrong, so that should charge up the train quicker as well, because both locomotives are working. Right, so let's go ahead and we'll just get these lights set up first. I think that's fine. Okay. Oh, that kind of just just noticed that crane's moving. Right, okay, so that's how we want the lights to look, and that's our setup right here. So we've got our double head multiple unit DE2 setup right here. This is actually the first time I've done this, so let's go ahead and just see if we can't get these lights set up. One thing I'm a little bit worried about is because the locomotives are facing the opposite direction, I'm not too sure if the lights are going to match up. Ooh, okay, that's good. Got the red light on the back there. And hopefully we've got some headlights on the front. There's no red light on the leading locomotive, which is fine. Yep, okay, fantastic. Okay, that's looking good. Now the other thing I'm just wondering about is the reversing setting as well, because one locomotive will have to be in reverse and one locomotive will have to be in forward mode, being the leading locomotive, because we're facing the other way. So I'll get to that in just a moment. I just want to test out the brakes as well first. So I'm just applying some brake here, and I'll go ahead and jump into the secondary locomotive, the trailing locomotive. Ooh, look at that, the brakes are applied. So we've got some mirror image business going on here, for sure. See that? Now if we release the brake here, hop into the trailing locomotive, brakes are released. How about that? Okay, awesome. So far it's looking good. Let's let's go ahead and look at this reverser business. So I want to go forward here. This should be in reverse. Yep, excellent. All right, that's absolutely fantastic. That's exactly what we want. So I think with that we are pretty much good to go here. So I'm going to go ahead and I think signal the old intent. And yeah, one thing that is not replicated here is the wipers. See, I've got the wipers running here. Wipers are not running on the trailing locomotive, but that's fine because I guess you don't need to be in the trailing locomotive, do you? And I would say that the temperatures and everything should more or less mirror the leading locomotive as well. So we should hopefully not be in danger of blowing up the trailing locomotive. And I just realized I think that I've forgotten to take off the handbrake at the back of the train. I bet you this one is not. Yep, this one's released. Okay, let's go back to the back. Okay, we're at the back of the train, and of course the handbrake was on. So, okay, let's go back to the front. Okay, I think we can finally get moving now. I've verified basically that brakes are off. The two locomotives appear to be in tandem and mirroring each other's settings more or less. I didn't test out the throttles, but just from how the train is moving off here, I can tell that, well, let's just have a quick look actually. Yep, can see the throttles being applied here as well. You can see there the ampere reading, the amps reading is So if I make any changes in the trailing locomotive, I believe they are mirrored in the leading locomotive as well. Okay, so basically with this multiple unit setup, you can hop between any of the locomotives and just stay where you are basically, and just operate the locomotive as if it was one long locomotive. Okay, so we're leaving Steel Mill here, and the set of inclines, as I was saying before, is coming up actually, so I think we're going to have to get onto the power here quite soon, because the first set of hills is actually quite soon. So let's get this throttle going. One thing with these little DE2s is they don't have much power, and yep, okay, come on, let's go, power on, can't afford to waste a second now. Yep, we can already see we've got our first set of incline here. I've got a 100k now limit, so that's a very high speed limit, which we'll never reach with these things, these locomotives at least. We have a heavy load behind us, there's no mistaking that, so let's try and get the speed up. Try and get at least 40k there on the speedometer. Okay, we're at 30 now, and already our engine temperatures are not looking good. And this is only the first bit of hill as well. There's a more severe incline coming up in just a moment, so really got to make sure that we get this train moving faster if we can. Temperatures are elevated. Yep, okay, looks like here comes the meat of the incline, and already we can see there that temperatures are not abating. Going to be in some real trouble here if we don't keep our momentum up. We are already slowing down. Come on, we can do this. Yep, there goes the temperature alarm once again. Yep, more of an incline here. We're not out of the woods just yet. 600 amps plus. I'm just going to back off the throttle a little bit here because we are in the danger zone almost. We don't have much leeway on our traction motor temperatures right now, so just try and get those traction motor temperatures just a little bit further down. This is a long hill, and oh boy, looks like our traction motor temps are rather hot right now. We're gonna have to do something here, slow this thing down, because these little engines can't cope with this hill, I think. Hopefully we don't end up stalling this train. Thankfully the temperatures look like they're mostly under control though, so we'll keep it going even if we slow down a little bit more. This is why it's important to have momentum, because momentum ensures that if you need to back off the power, you've still got enough residual speed to keep the train moving. So if we were doing 10k an hour, we'd be in real trouble right now if we had to back off the throttle, because yeah, we'd be slowing down and almost stopping, if not stopping. So, but yes, happy to say that looks like we've made it. So from here on, I think we've got a rather, well, it should be an easier run. I say easier run, but that is still a rather heavy train behind us, and these are just two little DE2 shunters, so I'm not going to jinx anything. We do need to turn off to the left soon, and I think those points should be set fine, but our temperatures are really just persisting at the moment, so I'm a little bit worried about that. They're not backing off, so I'm hoping that we are going to be okay. You know, it's a good thing we're not going off to the right hand side. Ooh, look at those temperatures. This is starting to get a little bit worrying right now because I'm backing off the throttle, but the motors are still hot. I thought they would have cooled a lot more than this by now. Thankfully we are going off to the left hand side though, so if we were going to the right we'd have more of an incline actually, just as we approach that bridge. But thankfully we're actually moving off to the left in this set of points here that we've just gone through. So this is the correct way to Harbour and Town, and I'm very thankful that it's yeah, a downhill apparently, according to that sign that we just passed. Having said that though, the train doesn't appear to be speeding up, or, well, at least it's not slowing down. I've really gotten off the throttle here because, yeah, I don't want to tempt fate. I want a little bit of a buffer in our traction motor temperatures right here. I don't want to just sit on the limit of the heat range and then have nowhere to go if we need more power, so... Okay, I think this is looking okay for the moment. We'll just keep this throttle setting. And I'll tell you what, if we didn't have this thing multiple unit coupled up at the moment and we were just trying to do this with one DE2, I think we'd really be in trouble right now, so... But of course, you'd have to be rather crazy to try and attempt pulling a load like this, almost 600 ton, with just one DE2. Not with this simulator update at least. I think the DE2 has really been sort of depowered or detuned with this simulator update, and I think I agree with that as well, because I think it was rather powerful before, probably too powerful. But yes, it was a bit of a rude shock as well when I first played the Derail Valley simulator mode. In the first look, which I'll put a card up above if you haven't seen the first look for that video, that was rather amusing. I did manage to pop a breaker on this DE2 trying to take a load out of Harbour and Town. I was completely unprepared the first time I played this simulator update for just how weak this DE2 is. So yeah, go ahead and check that out if you haven't already. The card's up above there. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get the power on, because we have some straights coming up ahead of us. We've left our inclines behind. If we have a quick look at the map here, we've just gone through that set of points, so we're coming up to this set of straights basically on this map, and yeah, we're mostly out of the woods. I think we've got a nice 100k an hour limit ahead of us. I'm pretty sure at least 100k an hour limit soon, if not already. So yeah, let's put the power on and maybe we can make this time bonus. I'm hopeful and confident that we'll make it as long as we keep the speed up. So let's get this thing moving. Right, there's a 100k an hour limit. Let's get the throttle on. Let's see what these DE2s can do. I've got the throttle maxed out right now, and we are pulling over 600 amps from the generator, the generators. Yeah, let's just bring it down a little bit. I'm just worried about the temperatures there. Got a nice bit of momentum going at the moment, so let's not tempt fate. This is a heavy train after all, so it's going to take a little bit of time to slow down if we do overcook things. Keep on moving, keep it moving. We're more or less in this region here at the moment. Got a bit of a left-hand curve coming up soon, and then a set of points which we should be going through soon, and they should be set correctly already. But yeah, I estimate that we're more or less in that region right there. I don't have GPS enabled on the world map there, as you can see. Yeah, we're doing a nice healthy 60k an hour. I'm starting to get a little bit antsy here, a little bit anxious about our speed, so I'm just going to start putting on some brake actually. Really don't want to tempt fate. We've come this far. these are light engines as well, so I really don't think they're going to hang on too much if we go through a curve a little bit too fast. I'm sure they'll jump the tracks quite readily, I think. It's not something I want to try and experiment with in career mode though. Especially after we've just paid a lot of money and we don't have much money left in the wallet right now. We've got some cash, but hopefully once we finish this job we'll be back up to around 50 grand, because this job is going to yield us a nice healthy chunk of change indeed. Okay, got a 70k an hour limit there. Just bring it down to under 50 if we can, because these speed limits can change between 10 to 20k an hour sometimes, up to 20k an hour. It's better just to be prepared. And this is how double heading should be done in the game. Multiple unit running should be with compatible engines, not with one steam engine and one DE2 like I did last time. Doing things right does cost money, unfortunately, in the game, and I think we've been saving a little bit of money lately just by avoiding those licenses and running these locomotives mix and match in probably not the best way, but I mean, the game doesn't have a way of penalizing you at this point in time. If you do run a steam shunter and a DE2 together, for example, like what I did in episode 6 there, that would be a handy feature, I think, for the developers to probably implement some sort of trackside train detection system that is located at various points of the map. And if you go through those points and it detects that you are running two locomotives illegally coupled together, it will fine you or something like that. That's a little bit scary to think about, actually. Why did I even mention that? Oh well, I'm sure it's not going to happen. Maybe. Okay, it won't be long now and we'll be coming upon those points, and that will signal to us that we are getting ever closer to Harbour and Town, which is our destination today. Just whilst we mosey on towards Harbour and Town, let me get the station booklet going, and it's just good to find out where we need to put our wagons and just make sure that we set the points correctly so that we don't have to to and fro too much once we reach the destination. Best thing to do is just look at the overview, and we can see there that we do need to be basically G yard. Okay, so G yard there is just, if you can see, oh, let's just, yep, okay, got a nice decline, minus 1.1% coming up. So yes, G yard. So that means going past the roundhouse there on the left hand side, past set of points there, those little Y set of points, and then through into that next set of points off to the right. Yeah. Anyway, I think I know where we need to go, so that's the important thing. Let's get the headlights going here in the tunnel a little bit more powerful, so we can see just where we're going. And we've got a set of points coming out of this tunnel, and there's a little bit of a yeah, look at the amount of fuel that we've eaten up so far, sorry. We've taken a fair chunk out of the fuel tanks. Okay, so this is the set of points here. We'll just want to, probably want to slow it down just a little bit here. Oh, that's fine. Okay, 40k an hour limit, and we're right on 40 basically as we are now. So we'll probably just slow it down a little bit. Probably get 1 bar of braking on here. That should arrest our speed at least. Yeah, so we've got pretty much 1 bar of braking on. This is a downhill section. You don't want the brakes off for this section. You can see that we are going just slightly too fast, I think. Just want to bring the speed a little bit further down if we can. Just get off the brake there just for a moment, but yeah, the moment I get off the brake, I just know that this thing is going to increase in speed right now. So we're more or less in this section right here. Got a few little lefties and righties coming up. Another tunnel up ahead. 60k an hour limit, that's fine. Yeah, we'll put on 1 bar of braking. Just keep the speed in check one bar of braking just basically holds the speed when you've got a heavy train. Doesn't really do too much to actually slow you down when you're going down a hill. On a level it will probably slow you down obviously a little bit more, but yeah, heavy train like this, you're going to need a fair chunk of braking to slow it down. Just keeping our speed under control here, 50k/h limit, so it's come down a bit now. Got some left and rights coming up. Let's just get the brakes on a little bit more here. See, you can just hear the compressors kicking in to charge up the reservoir there. Charging it up rather fast. We've got 2 locomotives doing the charging, so, and they've done their job. Right, back to 60k/h, that limit. Doesn't mean we have to sit there on 60 though. Always better to be safe than sorry. This section of the track coming the other way, obviously, as you did see in the last episode, that was a little bit of a doozy coming up here with the steam engine and the DE2. That was certainly a journey indeed. But going back in the opposite direction like we are now, it's really a milk run, so yeah. Not really too much trouble at all. Okay, it's just going to be more or less nice and easy run as we continue on, so I'll check in with you all shortly as we snake our way through the valley here and get ever closer to Harbour and Town. Okay, this is the last major set of switches here, and tunnel, we've got one more set after this of switches as well, and then Harbour and Town will be in sight. And as we know, heading into Harbour and Town is a nice and easy run as well. Lots of nice downhills. Coming out of Harbour is the problem. And we will be doing that in the next episode, don't you worry. And it's possible that we'll be driving a DH4 or who knows, maybe the SH282, although we don't have the license for either of those locomotives at the moment. But as I mentioned before, this job that we're doing right now is going to yield a fair payment to our wallet, so we should be able to buy one more license in the next episode, episode 8, for another locomotive. And now that we've got the multiple unit and concurrent jobs licenses under our belt, I think that's really good as well. We can really start to get our career mode into top gear. And just babysitting and nursing the speed here, just keeping it under control. Really, you haven't touched the throttle here in a long time. That's a minus 1.7%. So that's a downgrade. There's a downhill we got ahead of us as we head into Harbour. Really got to take it easy here. Once again, one bar of braking is your friend. Nice and easy, nice and easy. We'll be in Harbour and Town in no time. That's the signal that tells us that we have arrived. And I'm just going to get off the brake here, and there's a fair chunk of trains behind us is still on the downhill, so that's going to push us a little bit faster. Yeah, okay, let's get back on the brake because this is a bit of a curve coming up. We don't want to be going faster than 40. Oh, yep, okay. Got some squealies there. Alright, down to 30. Off with the brake. It's all level ground now. So now we just need to make sure that we set these points correctly as we pull in, because we don't want to get it wrong and then have to stop the train and reverse it because we've gone the wrong way. So this set of points here leads into the engine yard, which is fine. That's set fine. And what have we got over there? It looks like we have a DH4. So yeah, maybe we'll be getting a DH4. I can see a DH4 there and a DE6 or 2. So, interesting. Maybe it's time to get a DH4. I did drive the DH4 as well in a sandbox video recently, and you can check that out, card up above. Feel free to have a look at that. And I did pull quite a bit of weight with that, but incidentally not as much weight as I did in a recent video with the DM3. And that card is also up above as well if you want to check that out. I did a really heavy pull with the DM3 recently, more than I've done with the DH4, so how about that? But yes, in career mode, really got to be a lot more careful. So DH4, probably keep the weight in check, even though that is a powerful locomotive. You just have to be careful. Okay, I think I'm going the right way here. Hopefully I am. Need to be in G yard, which is there on the map there, as you can see in the overview. Just the bottommost of the yard there on the right hand side. Okay, so this, this needs to, we need to go off to the left here, I'm pretty sure. Nice and easy. This is the way you want to do it. Just pull into the yard with your residual momentum. And hopefully we can make our time bonus. I got that feeling we should be okay. There haven't really been any hold-ups so far on this journey. We did get going within good time, I think. So, alright, just need to focus here and make sure these points are set correct. So I want to pull into the right siding here in this yard. I'll go ahead and flip that switch over, and I think that one over there, yep, needs to change. The one behind this one. Very good, very good. Excellent. Alright, I think we're almost there, folks. So we'll just pull in here. We'll stop the train, put the brakes on, and run on back to the station yard, the station building, I should say, as fast as we can. G5I, that's where we need to be. Let the rest of the train just go into the siding here. We'll jam on the brakes and just make a bolt for that station office so that we can validate our time card, our job card, before the time gets too late, because we want to get that time bonus, and we should be getting an extra, I don't know, 10-15 grand or so with that time bonus if we do everything right. Okay, I think right about here should be good. Let's go ahead and put the brakes on. Okay, let's call a halt to the proceedings right about here. Go ahead and just switch off the locomotive. Now, one thing I've noticed as well is the rear locomotive hasn't turned off. We have to hop in there and do that bit ourselves. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Fuel cut off. Electric's, I think, already off there. Make sure the handbrake's on. Handbrake's on both locomotives, and we'll set one car here, handbrake on as well. We're on level ground here, should be fine. Okay, alright, uncouple here. Well, that'll do. Okay, let's go ahead and run to the station office, shall we? Okay, time bonus, time bonus, time bonus. I want that time bonus. Quick, 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 get the job card, put it into here. Validate the job. Yes, yes, we got time bonus. Excellent, excellent. That is fantastic. That's exactly what I want to see. So it looks like we've got a fair chunk of money now. That looks like $46,000. Okay, that's awesome. So we've earned 46 grand for that job, more than the 30 odd that we were going to get. So we're back up to 58 grand. That's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Now the only thing that's not quite fantastic is, unfortunately, our fees are $11,000. The copay is $11,000. You might be saying, well, you know what, mate? If you actually just use the steam shunter and the DE2, you could have made it here and only had a $2,000 copay. That is true, but we would not have been doing things by the book. And by the book is important too, isn't it? I think. So anyway, yes, there's a few jobs here that we can do for the next episode. and we'll go ahead and pay off our fees. We're in Harbour and Town at the moment. Let's see. Ooh, this is an interesting one. Going to the steel mill. There's a few here going back to... yeah, there's a few shunting jobs as well. Let's just quickly have a look here and just see what it's going to cost. I just want to see what it's going to cost. Like if we had manual servicing, this is almost 18k right there in fees. Now, if we were to manually service, it's half of that basically. So, yeah, it would have cost about $9,000 to manually service both of these locomotives, and our copay is $11,000. So I think, let me know in the comments below anyway, but I think it might be time to get manual servicing very soon, if not already, because $11,000 is quite a high copay to be paying right now, I think. So yeah, anyway, manual service, that's 20k. We can afford to get that right now. The other thing we can do as well is probably just get the license for the DH4, and there is a DH4 in this yard, as we've seen. Just looking at some of these jobs, we can't do this one. This is a hazmat job. Can do this job though. This is a freight haul to City Southwest from here. This should be a nice run actually. Maybe I'll go ahead and set this one up for episode 8. What do you think? This is 423 ton. Incidentally, less than what we pulled today. And I'm thinking maybe even do this with the DH4. Or we can just be boring and use the 2 DE2s in tandem once more. That's going to be an easy run if we do that with the 2 DE2s. It's not going to cost us any money to get a DH4 license if we do it that way, but where's the fun in that? I think we'll get the DH4 license and we'll go ahead and do this job, which will take us down west to City Southwest, basically. So just quickly having a look at the roundhouse here, and can confirm, yes, I was right before. My eyesight was not faltering there, and you can see this is the DH4. So yeah, what a monster this thing is actually. I did drive this one time, like I said in that sandbox video recently, since Simulator was released. But yeah, I realized just how big this thing is now compared to like the DM3 and the lowly little DE2. Not quite as big as the SH282 here, this big steam engine, and yeah, not quite as big as the DE6 either. But yeah, ooh, there goes the light. Yep, light's dying. So let's head back to the office right now and wrap up. So yes, I think in the next episode we'll be taking the DH4. Going to go ahead and buy the DH4 license, and we'll go ahead and just do a nice run from here to City Southwest with the load of imported new cars. I think that was. And we do have picked up 2 licenses in this episode, so we've done a fair bit of progress here, I think you'll agree. So yes, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, once again, please like, comment, subscribe if you wish. If you enjoyed this type of content, share the video if you like as well, if you think others might enjoy it. I really appreciate your viewership as always. Please comment below what you thought, and I will see you all in the next one.